young gunslingers was out there trying to make their way in the game. Uh, 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 and them two bumped heads. Uh, the stories behind them bumping heads, you could ask somebody else. But unless you was actually, connected or even tangentially connected to, you know, the core of what was going on, you knew it was a war. It was a war. Honestly, no one didn't want it to be, but if you was in it, that's what it was feeling like.
Diddy, obviously Tupac had a disdain for Diddy. How you think that would have ended up?
I mean, look, Pac would always say he would always give a pass to opponent who bowed down, who apologized, said they was wrong, because Pac was about the truth, and if that would happen, a lot of things would have changed. If come clean, everybody saw what type of brother Pac was. You got to come clean. That's what type of dude he is. He was, rest in peace, and nobody would come clean. Everybody's slick, everybody's so motherfucking slick. Excuse my French.
Good thing. We had a couple people on this podcast, fortunate enough the last couple of months, and a couple people, and it seemed like a lot of people got a Tupac story. And about that night that he passed away, being in Vegas, they seen him, they were there. And I heard something that you said maybe a couple years back where you were like, some of them people are full of shit now. You hear a lot of people talking about Tupac stories. How many of those, in your opinion, are genuine, and how many are just kind of riding the wave?
When it comes to my nigga and his life and the experiences, I'm like a 1%. There's like 1% of all of them that know, they might know an incident, but they don't know what was happening behind it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they'll have pieces of story, but not a small majority got most of the story.
Now the conspiracies, I know you've been dealing with those probably for your whole life. The conspiracies that he's alive. I had people that hit me up personally, like, "Yo, man, I know he's alive." Suge said it. How do you feel about those conspiracies, man, of Tupac being alive somewhere, Cuba, wherever they say?
I wish, my nigga. I wish. West Side, Machiavelli to Don. That's exactly what he wanted to do. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Nah, hold up, man. Y'all know and love my nigga, right? Do you think he'll be able to keep his mouth shut for this long?
Right. Talk about it.
I mean, all the shit that's been going on post his passing. You think he'll be able to be quiet that long? That's one thing, Pac gonna tell you how he feel, bruh. You know what I mean?
Why do you think that is? I mean, his name, people still want to be the new Pac. You hear it in hip hop. I'm the new Pac. I'm the new Pac. I'm this, I'm that. He's still that dude. Everybody got their top 5, but that one they want to be is still Pac. Does that make y'all feel good knowing that even though he may not be here in the flesh, his spirit is very alive and well to this day?
Absolutely, positively. That's what helps me. That's what gives me strength to keep smashing. Because we talked about these things. He talked about being a legend. He talked about, I'm gonna set it straight and then fuck it. I'll go out in the blaze. Fuck it. He knew. But he was one of the most bravest little niggas you ever want to meet. And we, the roaring 90s, a lot of us from the Keep It Real generation. You dig? And Pac was the premier artist of the time of the Keeping It Real generation. So some of us couldn't hang. Some of us took L's. I took an L or two. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? But Pac was gonna take his L and keep smashing, like it or not. What? Who is flawless here?
Now you said, in the interview that you knew that Tupac would die, and it's funny because people that I've known that have passed away, a few people have told me they was like, they told me they was gonna die. You know what I'm saying? But other people I've seen, you've seen people like Biggie and Pac. They had this in their music. They talked about it. They almost obsessed about, death. In your estimation, did Tupac know that he was going to die before he died?
Now, I didn't hear Big talk about death a lot until after he hooked up with Pac. I'm gonna keep it 100, okay? But Pac consistently would always talk about that because, you know, our family was plagued extraordinarily by poverty, drug addiction. I mean, it's different levels, but I know the extreme poverty Pac went through, you know, and that's the place we was coming from. And a lot of them didn't understand it, but a lot did. That's why that thug life caught on, because a lot knew where we was coming from, the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Our family was under pressure from the alphabet boys all our lives, all our youth. So who getting a job? My pops was on the run. You know what I'm saying? It was real. It was realer than, you know. But yeah.
Now you
wound up, man.
Now you say that, and you say it with a certain way. And Tupac would also, you know, say in some of his rants that he taught Biggie everything he knew. Biggie was biting his style and different things like that. Is there any truth to that aspect that Biggie was, you know, Biggie was kind of copying Tupac and what he was doing in his style and stuff like that?
Excuse me,
brother.
You gotta take my medicine. Now, some of that may be true, and some of that may be, you know, just admiration. You know what I mean? Pac was top dog. We was the leader. Niggas was following us. Excuse my French. So Pac would have the fly shit. Pac was hot. Pac was a star. Why not? You know, if you're trying to be successful, you want to get with somebody successful. And that's kind of a combination of what it was. You know what I mean? Even to the rap. Now, you know, people can have their own opinion, but that's mine. You know what I mean? They can say I'm wrong or whatever, but honestly, if you look at it, you know, that's what it was. It ain't, you know, and Biggie was skilled. Biggie was a folk rapper. It seemed like his style started, you know, catering towards Pac. Why? Because Pac was selling records. Who didn't want to be number one? Who didn't want to sell records? Who didn't want to get paid? You know, and you know, this is 20-some years later. We've all matured. We all have grown. We all learned a lot of shit. So, you know, you just gotta look at everything.
Hip hop now and the culture behind it now. You call it hip hop, rap, whatever you want to put the lane in. It's wholly different than what it was in the 90s and the 80s. The shit's different now. How do you look at hip hop now, where you got snitches out here getting number one records? You got to all sound alike, look alike. Who's doing the worst is the one that's getting the most fame. Skill is not really involved. At least it wasn't a couple months ago. Looks like it's starting to come back now. But what do you think about the current state of hip hop? What do you think Pac would have thought about the current state of hip hop?
Look, man, I don't try to knock nobody's hustle, right? And I'm a person who feels like there's a lane for everything. You know, that term flavor of the month, that's all what's happening. What's going on now is the flavor of the month. Okay, let's see how long we dig this flavor. You know, people will get tired of it or people will hold on to it, but it's ever evolving. It's ever evolving. The good thing is that hip hop is like a creative tool that all creators use. So we're everywhere. You know, trench everywhere. Don't sweat that. Don't sweat. Just do you. Do the real shit. Listen to them artists that you really love. Push them up. They there. You know, they just ain't getting a light.
Now, Tupac was a polarizing figure, and when he was back, and it was the beef going on, the East-West Coast beef, he called out a lot of people. One of those people being Nas. Why do you think a lot of people, in your opinion, were scared of Tupac? What was it about him that made them fearful of him or even responded to Tupac?
Pac's tongue was wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked. And he was very passionate. And if you haven't been around a lot of them type people who have trouble controlling their emotions and just free with their emotions and going to keep it real with you, and you ain't used to the realness, it could be a bit shocking. You know what I mean? Off-putting, let's say. But his passion and his drive he was a lot of energy at once for somebody to take if it was up.
Are you